Okay, we'll start with 3 Omkar and our prayer. Om. Om. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्त जन कल्याण निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् Just rub your palms. Okay, Hari Om. We'll start our class. We'll start with why do we do. Next chapter is why do we say Shanti thrice. Who would like to read? Volunteer? Okay, Adit, 63
62, yeah.
in my book. Okay.
Yeah, in my book, 62. Yeah.
Okay.
Why do we say Shanti thrice? Shanti, meaning peace, is a natural state of being. Disturbances are created either by us or others. For example, peace already exists in a place until someone makes noise. When agitations end, peace which underlies all agitations is experienced, since it was already there. Where there is peace, there is happiness. Therefore, everyone without exception desires peace in his or her life. However, peace within or without seems very hard to attain. A rare few manage to remain peaceful within, even in the midst of external agitation and troubles. To invoke peace, we chant prayers. By chanting prayers, peace is experienced internally, irrespective of the external disturbances. All peace invoking prayers end by chanting Shanti thrice. Why do we say Shanti thrice? It is believed that Trivaram Satyam, that which is said thrice comes true. For emphasizing a point, we repeat a thing thrice. In the court of law, also, one who takes oath in the witness stand says, I shall speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We chant Shanti thrice to emphasize our intense desire for peace. All obstacles, problems, and sorrows originate from the three sources. Adi Daivika, the unseen divine forces over which we have little or no control, like earthquakes, floods, and volcanic eruptions. Adi Bhautika, the known factors around us like accidents, human contacts, pollution, and crime. And Adhyatmika, problems of our bodies and minds like diseases, anger, and frustration. We sincerely pray to the Lord that at least while we undertake special tasks or even in our daily life, there are no problems or that problems are minimized from the three sources written above. May peace alone prevail. Hence, Shanti is chanted thrice. It is chanted aloud the first time, addressing the unseen forces. It is chanted softer the second time, directed to our immediate surroundings and those around us. It is chanted the softest the last time, as it is addressed to oneself.
Yeah. So just can you say briefly, Adit?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, just say the what you could get the insight from this. What insight you could draw from this?
Okay, so like in the olden times, Shanti was like a ritual. It's like it was like a routine to say it like every day, whenever we are praying or whenever we are studying. So there was like so in olden times people were they found it easier to find peace within themselves and around themselves also. But now if you see, like in today's world, there is like constantly there, like people are constantly engrossed in work and all other activities. So like they do not get time to discover themselves or attain shanti within themselves. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Adit. Then what about others? Advait is there. So tell me, Advait, about this. Can you tell something, Advait? Anyone else? Ishan, Randeep, what about you? You can also. What it is? First, it is जैसे कोर्ट में भी ऑर्डर 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 3 times it said, no? ऑर्डर 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 आपने देखा होगा. पहली बार जोर से, फिर मध्यम, then very low. That's what they told. And there are Trivaram Satyam. It is said whatever said thrice comes true. For emphasizing a point, we repeat a thing thrice. And in a quote also, what I shall speak the truth. That's why order 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 करके शपथ लेते हैं. We'll say it right. And originally the sorrows are originated from 3 sources, they told. Adi Devika, Adi Bhautika, and Adhyatmika. Adi Devika is a natural disasters which we do not have any control over it. Adi Bhautika also, the known around factors like accidents, human contact, pollution. Right now, COVID we are going through. Then Adhyatmika, it is related to our body and mind. Usually it is ego. Basically it is ego or our body, any disease we are, any thing wrong with the body. So body and mind creates this Adhyatmika. So while doing Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which mudra we sit? Actually, we'll sit like this and do, no? This is called which mudra? This mudra is called Chin mudra, is also called mudra. It is called Jnana mudra. And as I said last class, which thumb indicates what? Anyone? You can unmute yourself and tell. Because those who missed last class will get revision. Anyone? Palvi was there last class. Palvi, can you tell me what thumb indicates?
Yes, thumb indicates fire.
Yeah. Okay, fire. Thumb indicates fire. And index finger?
Index finger, air.
Air. So what, last class what we learned? Which mudra we learned?
Shankh mudra.
Shankh mudra. Doing a conch, we did. Why do we do? What happens when you blow conch? So from that we learned a mudra also, Shankh mudra. How is it done? Can one of you can just volunteer yourself and show? Siddhi, can you? Okay, Siddhi is showing. From the beginning, how? Step by step. Take left hand. You can unmute yourself. Yeah. You can do with your reverse hand also. Any. Just explain everyone. You are taking the thumb of your left hand, placing at the base of your right hand thumb here, pressing, then covering that thumb with the forefinger of your right hand. Forefinger of your right hand, and right hand thumb and left hand index finger you are joining together, and this 3 fingers together pressing. So this is thumb and index fire and white. Yeah. Benefits of this, you can sit, nowadays you are sitting while watching TV, or make it a habit. In any mudra you sit with it. This is what it calms your body and mind. any mudras, it calms your body and mind. It is a harmony of all five elements. So each mudra has their own benefits. This Shank mudra is beneficial in thyroid problems. It improves your voice. It gives melodious voice. So especially I think teachers, singers, doctors, lawyers, leaders, they have to speak more. They can do this mudra for 10 times daily. It is very beneficial. It's also beneficial in paralysis attack. After paralysis attack, muscles will be weak. So it helps in strengthening the muscles. And also after paralysis attack, the speech will be, for some speech is gone. So it helps in that also, in stammering problem. And especially it for students, it increases to increase your height. It helps in increasing your height, this Shankha mudra. And this mudra term, it is come from Sanskrit word mud. Mudra, mud is joy, and ra is to produce. So to produce joy, we do different kinds of mudra. And once again, I'll tell each finger what does it indicate. So thumb is fire, you learn, okay? And index finger is
Air.
vayu, air, okay? And
Middle is
middle
space.
finger,
Space.
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 Yeah, middle finger is space. Then
And ring
ring
finger is
finger,
earth. Ring finger is earth.
earth. Very good. And little
And
finger,
little finger is water.
water. So those who have missed, just note down. Little finger is water, ring finger is earth, middle finger is space, index finger is air, and thumb is fire. Everybody has noted down? Also, it indicates planets also. Do you know? Thumb indicates which planet? Thumb indicates Venus and Mars. Thumb indicates Venus and Mars. Index finger indicates Jupiter. Middle finger indicates Saturn. No need to remember this, just I'm telling you can correlate those who are having those who have interest in planets and astronomy, they can recollect. This is just I'm giving it. And then ring finger, it indicates sun actually. Sun, Apollo, it is Apollo. And little finger, Jal, it is Mercury. Mercury. And what are these? These are 5 elements. Our universe is created. What is the cause of the universe? Nature is the cause of the universe. And the creation is, regarding the creation, what are the 3 gunas? 3 gunas are what? Anyone? 3 gunas? Yeah, tell me. There are 3 qualities in the creation, no?
Sattvic, Tamasic, and Rajasic.
Rajasic, yeah.
Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, no? Sattva is what? It leads to knowledge and happiness.
Knowledge and happiness.
Yeah. And Rajas? After having knowledge and happiness, what? Action. Remember like that. So Rajas is what? Leads to action of whatever desires you are having. To fulfill that desire, you'll act. Isn't it? And for tamas, tamasic thoughts, when it comes out of your ignorance of knowledge. Okay, letharginess, ignorance, all that comes under tamasic. This is just before mudras, that's why I'm just giving you. I haven't diverted, but so that you can understand the benefits of mudra and why it is so important, mudras also. So you can make it a practice whenever you're sitting idle or communicating with your friend, or when you're watching TV, you can sit with mudras. What I'll teach few important mudras daily. Like each class I will teach one mudra. And today this we did Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This Jnana mudra, it is a boon to students. This mudra is a boon to students. It helps increases. This is also helpful in hypothyroid glands. This mudra is also because thumb and index finger it is joined. This Jnana mudra. Jnana mudra, you have to sit in Jnana mudra whenever. And what does this indicate? Om Shanti mein they told no, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. First Shanti is for your duty, whatever your duty towards yourself, towards your family, towards animals, towards this nature, towards this country, state, towards this whole world. So first Shanti, you say loudly, no? Om Shanti, to remind your duty towards yourself, family, everyone. Okay, that is for. So what does it call? It is Jeev Sanskar. Jeev Sanskar, your duty as a yagna, yagna as a self, towards animals, towards family, towards city, country, state, world, everything. Then second Shanti, little lower will chant. What does it mean? That is for the Loka Kalyan. Loka Kalyan for the benefits of others. So selflessly you have to act. Now action for yourself after performing duties towards yourself, towards neighbors, family, towards country, towards world, whatever it is. Then next step is you have to act selflessly. You have to act selflessly in the welfare of others. There should be no thought of that if I'll act something to gain something from others. So it should be a selfless act. Second Shanti is for selfless act, that is Loka Kalyan. And third Shanti, it is chanted very within. So that is Dev Shantos, for Dev, to please God. To please God, what kind of duties you will perform. So you have to perform, do something to please God, like helping others, or following that yam, niyam, pratyay, all that is there. Now you have to be disciplined with your physical body. You have to discipline with your mind. You have to control your mind, body, your anger, frustration. You don't have to tell lies. All those comes under then. So all the activities that comes under to please God. So that is another aspect what you understand from three Shanti. So first Shanti is for Jeev Sanskar, for your own duties, for other family, self, all kinds of duties. Then second Shanti is for Loka Kalyan, that is selfless act towards others, for the welfare of the others. And for Dev Shantos, it is to act actions towards God. So you have to act accordingly to please God. So that's all. And this is so this will chant 3 times Om Shanti with the Chin Mudra, Jnana Mudra, which is very beneficial for you all, for concentration, for developing memory power. So all of you should do whenever possible, whenever you're sitting at or whenever it reminds you, when you can, while reading paper, while watching TV. So we'll just chant 3 times Om, and we'll hand over to Sukesh. Okay. Okay. All of you just gently close your eyes, and tip of your thumb and index finger should be pressed, and 3 fingers together. Okay. Place on your lap or your thigh. Be comfortable. Keep your spine straight, and slowly deep breathe. Breathe in and chant Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Just imagine the peace around you. Okay, now slowly just open your eyes. Okay, fine. Now over to, now over to Sukesh.
Hello, Hari Om. Hari Om, everybody.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Good.
Hari Om.
So, yeah, so last class, I think some of you missed habit number 6. Habit number 6 we did was to synergize. And I think homework for today for those who attended, or maybe somebody can pick up. The sixth habit is about synergies. Okay, synergize is about 1 plus 1 will not be equal to 2. It's like it will be more than that. The effect of two individuals will be more than the combined results of as individuals will be more than that. Okay, so we saw some examples, and we went through some some video clip also last time, and then we said that in today's class we will share an example from our incident last week. So first we'll go to that before we go to the next habit. So who would like to go first to just share any incident or anything that they would have practiced in this year on synergy? Okay, for those who did not attend, I'll just give a small example of a synergy. Is like last class we gave an example of an alloy. So let's say if you have let's say the only iron bar, you have to break the iron bar at a particular, let's say it requires something like 60,000 pounds per square inch to break an iron rod. Then if you have, let's say, a nickel rod, it takes maybe something like maybe let's say 70,000 psi or pounds per square inch to cut it. And you have, let's say, chromium, the third one. It may take something. Now, if you combine all these three, like we know about alloys. Alloys are nothing but combination of different alloys. So stainless steel is an alloy of iron, nickel, and chromium. If it is combined, it is not the combined, it's not the, let's say, to break that stainless steel, you don't require that 70 plus 60 plus whatever 50 that was there. You require, when you really break, when they are combined, the amount of force is required is much more. So that means by combining the three elements, it has created a synergy. It has become much more stronger. Yet another example. Let's say in an orchestra, if let's say there are people who are playing, musical instruments. So if one musical instrument, if they are playing individually, they won't be forming any kind of a, it will not be an orchestra, right? It will be just some kind of a chaos if they do it individually in one corner or other corner. But when they come together, they perform in an orchestra, in a tune. When they're tuned together, the maestro really, tunes it for them. It becomes a wonderful piece of music for ears. So that's a synergy. Like different, we call about jugalbandi, we say, like when tabla player and let's say some other music, they play together, and when they are together, it becomes a jugalbandi, it becomes a synergy. It's a wonderful piece of music that each one of us would like to hear, rather than, let's say, if it is being played in a room, if let's say we put 4 musicians in a corner and ask them to play, it will be a chaos. You will not know what is going on. It will not be in a rhythm, right? Third example, again, I'll give one more example. I think you all have learned in this physics is the principle of resonance. Do you know that when military is asked to pass on a bridge, like generally they march, left, right, left, right, left, right, like that, okay? But when they go on the bridge, they are asked to break that, that kind of a march, just because if they do that way, it will create a resonance, and just by if they're in resonance, if they march that way, the bridge can fall down. If it comes in resonance with the frequency at which the entire squadron is passing by, it may even fall down. So that's a synergy. If that happens, that synergy. Rather than they combine, if they walk individually on the front, the bridge won't fall. But if they go on marching left, right on a bridge, there are chances the bridge might fall off. So that's the power of synergy. That's the power of how we say synergy. So in life, we always need to create a synergy with any given situation. And again, it's not a miracle. It's not something that where we are saying we have to compromise. It's a process. It's a process. We say to get to synergy, it's the process. We need to first actually define the problem or the opportunity that we have. We then need to understand the different ideas, try to understand what may occur. And then we have to define that question, the synergy question, the third alternative question. What do you want to do? And then really create that synergy. Okay. So that was to summarize. Now I will will ask each one of you individually to share one by one your experiences, and then we will take up the habit number 7. Okay.
Okay, Pallavi, what about Pallavi?
Just like you said, I thought about how we apply this in our day-to-day lives. So
Okay.
At home itself, if only one person works the whole day, the performance will decrease gradually, and also the person may get tired. And so if all the family members work together, the performance will remain constant or may even increase, since all the ideas and all the work will be done together.
Yes, nowadays in lockdown period, everybody must be going through that. It's so happy to work together. No, whole family is together. Somebody is doing. The work is divided actually among everyone. Each work, whoever is good in which work, it is divided among themselves. So it is happy to see. So who else want to?
Adit said he wants to do it.
Yeah.
So Adit, you go next.
Adit?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it was during my football practice at school. So like there were two friends who had like who had started an argument to like to form a formation which had like so one person was arguing that to increase the attack, and one was like arguing to increase the defense. So
Okay.
like I just came and I just interfered and just suggested them to like increase the players in midfield. So like when we have the possession, we can go to attack, like two players can go to the attack, and when we lose the ball, we can come to a defense. So like we can have a transition, right? So both attack and defense can be happen in majority percentage.
Yeah. Good. Good example of synergy. Yeah.
Okay. I think by now Meghna remembered, so maybe you can share after Adit.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, Meghna.
with
Go ahead.
them it is more fun than what, like, now me and my sister are playing. So it is more fun to play with the other family members too, like when we all come together.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so
Okay.
we will continue this. I think about it. If not in this class, again next class.
Again, next class
have
you
to see,
come up.
real take out some real good example, real and practice it. I think unless see these habits, unless we will not practice them, I think it's only going to become a knowledge. And see, knowing is not doing. See, doing is doing. So we'll have to implement all these habits in our day-to-day life. Whenever we get an opportunity, whenever there is a incident where we need to, I think this is going to help, and see, it can go. So Randeep, good. You are, though it is in first class, you would like to share. Okay, Randeep,
Okay.
go.
Good. Good.
Go ahead, Randeep. Share your experience.
Sir, my experience is relating to our building. When we play in our building, there was once a fight between two boys. They both wanted to play different sports, but when majority of us forced to play football, so they two decided that they would play football, but they would play only. One person was saying that he would play only if the other will not play, and the other person was too saying that if I'll play only, then that the second person will not play. So what happened? There is a group of 10th graders. They form a football team and come every day in our building to play against us. So what happened? And nobody from our side wanted to play, and they both were the best players. So we thought that we have to we have to go back to our home now without playing a match. So
Okay.
then I went to both the people and I told them that if you both play together as a team, we all can win against them, and they'll not ever come back in our building to play. Those guys were just bullies who come to our building without any permissions.
That's a
So
good.
we played a match against them and we defeated them, and then they didn't come to our building anymore to bully anyone.
Okay, so see, basically the purpose was to really, have fun, really play a game and all that, and this created a synergy. But rather, if you all had played separately, you wouldn't have, enjoyed. Maybe, as you said, some of you would have had to go back home unhappy without, enjoying the play that day. Okay, and together when you played, maybe some of you did not want to play that game because you did not like it. But after playing the game, maybe you also found the joy of that game. You also found how beautiful that game was, and you played. So yeah, that will create a synergy. Okay. Okay, so synergy is, again, please don't mistake it for compromise. Okay, it's not a compromise. It's not like, okay, sometimes I have to compromise. So synergy is not to be mistaken with compromise. Okay, it's not a compromise. It's something where we can create something different. We call it third alternative. Neither fighting, not flying, or let's say escaping from the situation, but how out of that given situation, how do I create something which is going to be win-win, something which is going to benefit all. Okay. Shrishti wanted to go next. She wanted to share. Please go ahead, Shrishti.
Yes, sir. In this lockdown, I started cooking in the home, just basic. I learned how to do chapati first. I could not do anything. Then I tried and tried. After that, I was able to do a perfect round chapati.
No, that is, you are actually talking about habit number 7 actually. Synergy is in a situation where you have some situation where you have to choose. You have either to choose this or that, but you decide to choose something which is even above that.
This was sharpening your saw.
So this is actually
Actually,
come to
habit. Next habit. Actually, this is sharpening your talent or sharpening your.
Okay. So anyway, whenever we are going to meet together, let's say sometime down once the lockdown is over, let's say in June or July or down the line, we will go through each of these habits. Once again, we'll go through it. So just to make sure that we are not mistaken or nothing overlapping. Okay, it should be very clear about that habit.
Last class I had explained one good examples also. Even all our festivals also bring together family, and we have a lot of joy. Everybody is doing different jobs to celebrate festival. So our festival also marks a good example of a synergize. So any festival also you can think of any festival where some incident where everyone came together, synergize. The yagna I talked about once in 12 years that yagna comes. That yagna also from different parts of the country, different workers come together. How that kind of management, different kinds of management, just go through the different kinds of management of that. So you'll get an idea of.
Today we are going to speak about habit number 7, the next habit. The habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. So one classic example in school days, we all used to carry pencil and a sharpener with us. We used to write notes in one class, maybe, and then once the first period is over, the second period, and you feel like, okay, your pencil is not sharp enough because you have to write down the notes and it has to be legible. You sharpen the pencil and keep it ready for the next class, and like and so forth. So habit number 7 is very much alike to that. I will demonstrate this more by way of you can say, you can open your videos also, so that I'm about to share my screen and show you a video clip to explain the habit number 7. Okay, are you all ready? Okay.
Sharpen the Saw is one of the 7 habits of highly effective people, outlined by author Stephen R. Covey. Sharpen the saw means preserving and enhancing the greatest asset you have, you. If you want a tool to last long, you've got to take care of it. The importance of sharpening your saw is beautifully illustrated in this story. It was the annual lumberjack competition, and the final was between 2 lumberjacks. One was an older, experienced lumberjack, and the other was a younger, stronger lumberjack. The rule of the competition was quite simply who could fell the most trees in a day was the winner. The younger lumberjack was full of enthusiasm and went off into the woods and set to work straight away. He worked all through the day and all through the night. As he worked, he could hear the older lumberjack working in another part of the forest, and he felt more and more confident with every tree he felled that he would win. At regular intervals throughout the day, the noise of trees being felled coming from the other part of the forest would stop. The younger lumberjack took heart, knowing that this meant the older lumberjack was taking a rest, whereas he could use his superior youth and strength and stamina to keep going. At the end of the competition, the younger lumberjack felt confident he had won. He looked in front of him at the piles of felled trees that were the result of his superhuman effort. At the medal ceremony, the young lumberjack stood on the podium, confident and expecting to be awarded the prize of champion lumberjack. Next to him stood the older lumberjack, who looked surprisingly less exhausted than the younger lumberjack felt. When the results were read out, the young lumberjack was devastated to hear that the older lumberjack had chopped down significantly more trees than he had. He turned to the older lumberjack and said, "How can this be? I heard you take a rest every hour, and I worked continuously through the night. Once more, I'm younger and stronger and fitter than you, old man." The older lumberjack turned to him and said, "Every hour, I took a break to rest and sharpen my saw." At its surface, there are a lot of things to take away from this story. A sharp saw is more effective. Choose your tools wisely. Why struggle with a blunt saw? Perhaps it is wise to take time to sharpen it. If you don't know how to use a tool, learn. When we work more effectively, we get more done. Stop doing things that don't work. Rest is just as important as hard work. A rested worker is a good worker. A tired worker is a poor worker. This story is really relevant to me, and I would imagine to a lot of new teachers. We get frustrated by life and our inability to cope with things in the classroom. But instead of developing ourselves and taking the time to become more effective, we keep struggling with a blunt saw. Being at work doesn't always mean you're working. Grading a test doesn't always mean you're giving feedback. Talking to someone doesn't always mean you're connecting with them. Don't confuse activity with action. Taking a break does not always mean you're resting. Feeling good doesn't just happen. Living a life in balance means taking the necessary time to renew yourself. It's all up to you. You can renew yourself through relaxation, or you can totally burn yourself out by overdoing everything. You can pamper yourself mentally and spiritually, or you can go through life oblivious to your well-being. You can experience vibrant energy, or you can procrastinate and miss out on the benefits of good health and exercise. You can revitalize yourself and face a new day in peace and harmony, or you can wake up in the morning full of apathy because you gear up, your go is gone, you got no get up and go. Just remember that every day provides a new opportunity for renewal, a new opportunity to recharge yourself instead of hitting the wall. We can't delegate this task of sharpening the saw to others. Diet, exercise, rest. No one else, not the most well-meaning partner, not your parents, not your friends, no one else can take on this role in our behalf. We have to build these into our routine, or it doesn't happen. When you take time to sharpen your saw, you increase your capacity to produce, and you increase your capacity to handle the challenges around you. But without this renewal, the body becomes weak, the mind mechanical, the emotions raw, spirit insensitive, and the person selfish. Not a pretty picture, is it? One class, one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 semester, 1 year in a classroom is a marathon. And the rest is as important as the work. Remember, you're the most important tool in your classroom. You must take care of yourself in order to take care of others. So let's keep our physical, social, mental, and spiritual tools sharp. If you don't want to listen to me, take some advice from America's greatest president, Abraham Lincoln. He said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe."
Habit number 7 clear?
You can
So,
unmute yourself.
You can unmute yourself and say,
switch
okay,
on the
okay.
video also.
Okay, so basically what it means is that we require a time to time to really keep on sharpening our skills. It's like, doesn't mean like, okay, most of us after completing schools, it doesn't mean that we don't have to, revisit our concepts again. We definitely might require to reinforce those concepts. We really need to learn again and take it forward. So basically here we are talking about sharpening your skill in all dimensions. So first dimension is your body, physical dimensions. In order to really have energy every day, because we need a lot of energy to do work, we need to make sure that we do workouts, we do some kind of a physical exercise to keep our body fit. We eat the right kind of food. We make sure that we remain healthy. We don't get into any habit that will bring our body, or let's say physical dimension, out of gear. So that is the first dimension. Second dimension is our mind. In order to keep our mind sharp, besides our books, the textbooks and all that we learn, we should try to refer some other books also. We should try to see some educational videos. We should try to educate or discuss with people who have the concept. So this is something like gaining more or trying to reinforce, trying to keep your mind sharper each time. The third one is keeping, we call it the emotional dimensions, which is about heart. So that is more about building relationships. This is more about, I think you remember it, one of the habits we talked about, the account, the emotional account, where we try to deposit some kind of, the relationship related to personal account. Like it can even be done, fulfilled by emotional dimensions can also be sharpened by way of doing some services, by allowing yourself to do some kind of community services, some kind of activities that will really bring you there. And the last one is spiritual dimensions. That is through sometimes we need to take a break, contemplate, meditate, just try to analyze what kind of thoughts are going in your mind. We try to just think sometime, think about our goals, think what we need to do. We need to basically some kind of meditate. So it is very much required, and only then this will give us an opportunity to sharpen the soul, try to improve our skills. So even the best of the best person keeps on doing that. Talking about any personality, do you think like Sachin Tendulkar, maybe the best batsman, do you think that once he reaches a particular feat in his career, does it mean that he stops practicing and he feels, okay, I'm the best and that's it? It doesn't happen that way. He has to keep on sharpening that skill. He has to sharpen his his skill further. He has to we call it sharpening the saw. So this is very much important. And again, we are not talking about only one dimension. We are talking about all the 4 dimensions: the physical, the intellectual, the emotional, and the spiritual. All the dimensions we need to keep sharpening over the saw, and then only we can have a balanced growth. So this is about sharpening the saw is the 7. In next class, we'll also be talking about each one of you sharing some of your experiences in sharpening the saw. Like in today's class, Sheshti mentioned about her skills in cooking. She initially used to make something, and then by doing continuously practicing, she was able to improve that skill. So likewise, you may have some dimensions. It could be something related to any physical. Some of you might have had some issues related to your physical dimension, where you would have done some improvement by sharpening your skill, and you would have taken a kind of a you can say kind of a firm goal that we will continue doing it. So I think we will share this kind of experiences and do it. And again, these habits, as I said, more sincerely you practice them, more sincerely you do it to them, it is going to benefit each one of you. So that's all for sure. Unless you have any questions, anybody wants any clarification, please let me know. And any questions, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask if there is any doubt. I understand that just in one session, just in 10-20 minutes, it's difficult to imbibe the whole thing. For example, if you ask me, I still keep on reading this habit, and each time I read this about this 7th habit, I come to discover something new. So it is not that easy. So please feel free to ask questions if you have not understood, or if you have not understood any one of aspect of this habit. Sharpen the saw. Is it clear?
Can I give one example regarding
Okay.
the sharpening the saw? There were, okay, Adit, then what about Palvi? There were two men with the same amount of money. They started the business, opening a sari business. Imagine sari business. So one bought a sari from the wholesaler. From wholesaler, he bought the sari, and immediately he opened the shop. And other one, he went to all retail shop, did research, then what is the demand in the market trend he discovered, then what is the new fashions regarding the fashions, then what are the customer demands, then he did research in each area. Okay, he did research in each area and what kind of the saris they would like to sell also, and what customers demand also. Okay, and now can you tell who will be successful in this too, whether the wholesaler or retailer? One who with the same amount of money, one person immediately he bought from the wholesaler saris and he opened the shop, and other one he went to the retailer, he went did the market study, what is the demand of the customers, what he would be able to sell, and so many things. So from 2%, who will be successful? What do you think?
Say second one.
Second one. Okay.
Anybody who differs from Randeep?
Shrishti, you want to say something?
No.
No. Okay. It is second one who will be succeed in his business, because he didn't just open just like that. He wanted to do retailer. He went to the retail market. What is the demand? What kind of saris will get sell? So many things. Price, regarding the price, demand and supply, market trend, fashion, so many things. So whatever sharpening the saw means, you have to don't just jump into any conclusion, make a research and sharpen your saw, whatever. You then only you will be successful. So here we have to sharpen in all the dimension.
And right now, it's a very, very, you can say, appropriate time for most of us. I think this type of time does not come in lifetime. At least for me, in my lifetime, this is the first time that I've been sitting at home for more than a month at home, working from home. But it gives a wonderful opportunity for sharpening your skill right now, sharpening the saw. I'm getting so many opportunity of reading so many books that I was not able to read, or I was able to refer. I'm able to really make my day full, compartment tight day, right from morning to evening, able to do all dimensions in life. And I think most of you too also has got this wonderful, because you don't have school right now, you don't have to go to tuitions right now outside. Most of the time you are at home. And this is a wonderful opportunity where you have an opportunity to visit your old notes. Let's say some of you are in, let's say right now in 10th, 11th, 12th, whatever. You have an opportunity to refer your old books. You have opportunity to read some material which is very reference material right now, which probably in your day-to-day life before the lockdown you are not able to do because of the shortage of time and a lot of hectic schedule. You are not able to do it. But it is a wonderful time that you can avail. It is a wonderful time that at home you are at home and you are able to learn so many other skills as well. For example, even I'm learning a little bit how to cook. I was never in the kitchen, but now I'm also trying to learn a little bit in the kitchen or trying to do some household work. And only when you do that, you come to know how good you are at that particular skill, and you can only improve on that. Okay, so it's always life is all about improvement. Okay, it's always about doing excelling. Do you know that in our own culture, even in any Sanskrit language, there is absolutely no verbatim for perfection. There is nothing like perfection. So nobody is perfect. Nobody can ever be perfect. Okay, it's always excellence. We can only excel upon our skill or excel upon our what we know. So this is the right time. Lockdown period is the right time to sharpen the saw. I think we should take full advantage of this situation, and we should sharpen our saw. So in the next class on the habits, we will be talking about both habit number 6 and number 7. Then we will again have a review of all the 7 habits. Once again, we will have a brush through. We will have some interaction session on each of the habits, and then we will also move on to the 8th habit. But this is which is beyond 7 habits. Okay. Thank you. Hari Om.
So this, actually, in all dimensions, this Gyan Mudra is very helpful in grow in all dimensions, because it helps in your controlling your mind also, all anger, frustration, all that, it calms down by doing Gyan Mudra. So practice that also along with your physical exercises. This is also harmony in balancing all the elements. So that is also very good. So I think
I wanted to say that in the next class, in all the 4 dimensions, each one of you should at least come up with what are you going to do, or what have you planned to sharpen the saw in each of those dimensions. So it is physical, emotional, intellectual, and your spiritual. Okay, so at least come out with what do you have planned, and how do you would like to sharpen your saw in those dimensions, or if you're already doing something about it, please share that. Okay,
at least one activity in each dimension. Yeah. So now
Everybody is able to connect with their video calls, so we can continue with our pegging, right? Like you will be able to see all of us, so we can continue with the pegging.
So okay, then next class will continue with pegging also. Have you done rhymes till how many did your? 50. I think by now 50 is ready. No. So pegging, how many rhymes are ready? Shrishti, how many rhymes are ready for you?
Till 40 we can do.
Till 40. Okay. What about others? What about Meghna?
35.
Yeah, till next class we can do till 40. Yeah.
35.
Okay, next class we'll do till 40. But you keep on doing 45, 50. You just go ahead. Okay. Slowly we'll practice. Okay, we'll practice with 40. And one more thing, in group I have posted one. All of you just register if you are free regarding the Chinmay Jayanti. Daily they have some other. They have pegging also second day. So please attend that. On memory pegging only it is second day. First day is dot painting, I think, as far as I can remember, because it is not in front of me. That and third day it is on dancer on patriotic song. Fourth day there is some movie workshop, 4th and 5th, and 6th and 7th day also there is some. So please try to attend that. Register, it is free, and be a part of it. We'll celebrate together Chinmay Jayanti.
Purnamadam
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Stay safe, and we'll look forward to see you again next Sunday.
Okay. Hari Om.